Welcome to the Institute's Leading Edge, a show dedicated to helping the automotive aftermarket service industry. Covering topics suggested by you, the listener, we dive into what's important, getting you what you need to succeed.
Welcome to the Institute's Leading Edge. This is Cecil Bullard. Today we're going to talk about alternative pay. Things are changing in the industry. There's some cool new things out there. With us, we have Bill Adams, Adams Autoworx, right?
Yeah.
I got it right. Hot
You
day.
got it right.
All right. BJ Lee, Mission Auto Care, Northern California for Bill and Southern California for BJ. And Todd Westerlund with Facepay. I think are you in California or not?
I just moved to Las Vegas.
Did you really? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I am in the mountains and it's great. It's
Beautiful.
great.
Yeah. Especially in the wintertime. I'm gonna have to come visit you in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So, all right. Alternative pay systems. So I think we have lots of different options, frankly. The old credit card thing is just not quite what it used to be. My clients are getting somewhere between about 1 and 1.8% on their credit card fees, and anywhere up to maybe about 2.4. And occasionally we see somebody sneak up to 3.0. Why does it sneak up? Bill, why do you think it sneaks up like that on us?
It's like anything, Cecil. If you're not paying attention to it, you just get beat down into the mundane months after month. They just poke you. They just bleed you out a little bit. And, when you drop over dead, they don't care. They just go get another sucker to hook up into the Borg or whatever analogy you want to use. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you will assimilate. Having some of the new payment processing options coming out right now is going to be a game changer. And we got to watch out that, what happens to some of these new payment guys doesn't happen to what, people that opposed Clinton back in the day. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get my tinfoil hat.
Or wait a minute. We got to steer clear of politics. That's the one.
No politics.
No politics, no religion. So we got to stay clear of those two things. Stay
out of the parks, Todd.
Now, happy to talk to you about all of that off camera, but we got to be careful. I think it has to be managed.
It does.
Bill, in credit cards or charges, how do people pay you? And then how much do you, like, without something like Facepay or another form of payment,
right,
how much of your money goes through credit cards a year?
Unfortunately, it's over 90%.
Okay.
And that we're a pretty big platform, and you start taking out, we manage it, but we're still at 1.8%.
Yeah.
And 1.8% of $1 million is a lot of change.
Yeah, when you get over the 2 million mark, it adds up fast, doesn't it?
Some big guy with gray hair just said, it's only $60,000, and
yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, when you add it up, and you're like, dang, wait a minute, what could I do with that? And
that's
then
a boat. That's a new truck. That's a boat. I mean, holy smokes,
it's
right?
Something, yeah. That's why Visa has better furniture than I do, and they sponsor golf tournaments, and we don't.
I'm always amazed when I drive by, like, where was I recently in Minneapolis, and I drove by one of the big coliseums, and I don't know the one up there, but a lot of times you'd be like Visa Coliseum, and
right,
you're like, holy crap, they're making too much money if they could sponsor a Coliseum.
That takes us back to Todd. You just moved to Las Vegas, and you have an airline that sponsors the new Raiders Stadium over there.
Yeah.
And that airline, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that makes Spirit Airline look like the best thing going. But they sure did make a nice place for you guys to play, Todd. And we can't get over there to party in your palace.
There you go. It's nice.
I think most of us will be out there in a month and a half, for Apex.
Mm-hmm.
All right, BJ. What systems do you use to collect money from your clients besides give me cash or,
Credit cards, a check once in a while from an elderly
once in a while.
customer or something like that. Not
Okay.
very often. Facepay,
Okay.
financing. We do some financing for some people that we have a quick and easy financing.
It's not your
for
money.
people that want financing.
Someone
Not my
else's money.
No.
Right.
Right. Somebody else's money, not my own. But
I know you're
the
I know
norms
you're
that
smarter than
everybody-
that. Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't get there. But no, same thing everybody else has been using for years. You know what I mean? It just now I just see the trends that, people want things that are quick and easy. They want to get in, get out. The fast-paced world that we live in now. And we just want to make it easy for them. So any way that I can make it easy for them that's cost effective and works and it's a good benefit to everybody, then that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do a little math here. And I was messing it up.
You used to do that in your head, but you must be getting old now.
I think the gray hair goes through the skull and gets in the brain and messes.
Now I always see you going, what's that number?
Yeah.
Let's just shave our heads and we'll be way ahead of the game after that.
So in some shops, they can be paying $2,000 to $4,000 a month in credit card fees. Pretty simple. Yeah, I was doing the math on your shop. So
we're pushing 5,500 between both of our big stores right now.
Okay, and then I know some guys that have 16 locations that if
rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I mean, holy smokes.
And I'm with Bill, but he was talking about earlier about looking at that. I mean, if you don't look at these things every month, taking a look at your P&L and what fees you're paying and all this different stuff and monitor that and see if there's ways to cut back on that stuff. Yeah. And if it's out of sight, out of mind, you're just keep taking it and you don't do nothing about it. Well, shame on you.
Mm-hmm. If you want to get just a little bit more hacked off at the world, just open up that actual PDF and look at all the fees on top of the fees. It's just about as usurious as your cell phone bill. But right. I think there's 8 or 9 different taxes that they call fees that are taxes on top of that, just for the privilege of having the low friction methodology of taking Visa, MasterCard, American Depressed, and Discover bondage.
And then if you're doing like when COVID hit, because the customer wasn't showing up with the card, people's fees went up through the roof.
Oh,
double.
Card not present. If you take a card over the phone, it's another %.
Yeah,
at least 1%, probably 1.5 to 2, Todd, depending on your. I know guys that jumped over 4% if they're using the little square thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and none of that. You hear people say, "Well, I only pay 1.5%." Well, you know what? Don't. All in, take a look at what you're paying. They're not looking at all the add-ons, right?
So what we do for our group members, don't worry, Todd, I'm going to get to you soon to talk
I'm
about
good.
Here in a minute.
Todd gets the punchline.
I'm hanging out with the 3 of you. I'm just thankful to be here. This is
that and a cold one. I'm great.
He's going to put his feet up in a minute.
What we do for our group members is we take all of the fees associated, so just the total that they pay, and divide it into how many credit cards they took. And surprisingly enough, people will go, "Oh my gosh, I thought I was at 1.5, but I'm at 2.3."
Yeah.
And another 0.8% on $1 million in sales. That's $8,000. I mean, just right off the top. So interesting. And if you're doing like 5 million in sales, holy crud. So
there's some trickery in there too. If you, I've come across shops that have flat rate 1.6, they say, and I know there's premium cards. There's, you got your card not present. There's a lot of different things. And so I was trying to figure out, well, if they're going to lower these rates, what's another way? Like how there always is some angle. Yeah.
Where are they going to make their money? Right.
So now you want to check. Yeah. You want to check and see how fast when they batch your money gets into your account.
Right.
So interesting. Oh yeah. Adams Autoworx will give you a lower rate, but then Bill's going, my money seems to take an extra day to get in because they're making interest off of all that batch. So it's a. Sometimes I just think, guys, we're all in the wrong business. We could just sit back and
without a doubt,
collect money off other people's money. It's a
Give
pretty
me a-
good gig.
Give me 100,000 shops, doing $1 million a year, and I'll just take a couple percent of that.
Just
Yeah,
1.5%,
just a little bit.
2%. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. You're not gonna be greedy, not just a couple percent.
Right.
Yeah.
So Todd, you are FacePay, and FacePay is another way to take money from clients. Now, so we have, I think crypto's entering the game. At least there's some talk about that, although I don't know any shops right now that are taking cryptocurrency as a way to pay. We have obviously the credit cards, we have cash, we have checks. What other services are you coming up against as FacePay when you're going into shops?
Yeah. We say a different way to pay. I think let's maybe kind of start in a different way and see what you guys think of this. I recently found out, I remember my dad had a gas station, but I found out he owned 10% of a gas station in Lafayette, California, back when I was a little kid. Yeah, I mean, and it was a mobile station. It was the one right across from that movie theater. If you've been out there in Lafayette and seen, there's a little gas station on the corner. And I was thinking about it, thinking of the way payments were. My dad at that time was all right if people paid in cash. They did a brake job, something, gave it $200 cash. That's cool. Put it in there. Maybe somebody writes you a check and they say, could you cash this on Friday? I mean, we did that for families. We helped out or something like that. And the thing that I hear now when I talk to shops and they're telling me how much is going through the shop per day, nobody wants 20 grand sitting in the cash drawer. They don't. I mean, they do, but they don't. They don't want that much.
But also, nobody's paying in cash. Nobody's paying in cash. I mean, when I had my shops 20 years ago, half of our business was cash.
Yeah,
People would come with $100 bills and pay for whatever. And when I was running the other shop, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, it was almost all credit card. I mean, 98, 99% credit card. So,
and almost every shop I talk to now says, we don't accept checks, or like BJ was saying, very rarely. It's just not, I don't want to be going to the bank, cashing checks. So I step back and I go, how did we get here? How do we get to a place where we're going, I don't want cash on the cash drawer. I don't want to accept checks. Basically, culturally, we now subscribe to something where every dollar you earn, somebody comes out and takes that 2%. And that's crazy. So
sounds like the government, but it's not enough for them. So
no. So when you say that the different payment options, FacePay is just simply like virtual cash. It's just the return of cash in a different way. We don't have to do a cash drawer. Now, when I look at things like Squares and Venmos and some of these other ones out there,
they actually have higher fees than your typical credit card usually.
Yeah, Square 2.6%.
Yeah, and I mean we do a lot of our programs are online, and people pay us online, and so we have Square and we have something else, and Square will keep the money for 2 days, and then they'll take their piece out, and then they'll return what's left, and here you go. And then we have another one when we purchased another company recently, and they had something else, and they actually keep the money sometimes up to 5 days, and they take their 2.8%. So
what I think about now also is think about all the vendors that we deal with and stuff, right? Where you buy a piece of equipment, or I don't know whatever it could be, any type of thing, right? Or let's put it this way: my WorldPack bill, I pay weekly, right? Comes right out of my account. They want your account information, just take it out. They don't want to deal with credit cards. They don't want to deal with you sending them a check or any of that. Just everything just kind of happens, right? Simple, easy, set it up, done. And that's what I think people are wanting.
Well, I think as a society, we've come to there are a lot of people walk around, they don't even have cash.
Right.
They don't even carry $50 or $20. I don't want to go to the bank and the I used to call it the God in the wall and get, $50 or whatever.
Right.
They just don't want to do it. I have my card, tap and go.
Yeah.
Even cash now. Put $100 bill in your wallet and try to go somewhere and spend it.
Oh,
Nobody wants to take it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm a guy who likes to have a little cash in my pocket, and
Yeah.
so I'll go to the bank and get $400 or $500, and it's 50s. It's not even 20s anymore.
Oh, wow.
And then if you go somewhere, it's like especially like in the morning, they're like, no, I can't take that. I can't break. I can't change a 50. And you're like, my bill's $28. So don't you have 12? Do you have $22 sitting back there somewhere?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
You just ask them, do you accept FacePay?
Yeah.
There you go.
Here you go. Right.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
So hang on. So let's have that, because I want to ask you a couple of questions about FacePay. So FacePay, you said it's the cash alternative, meaning that
virtual cash.
If I have money in the bank and I just want to pay you, I can use my FacePay not only at the shop but in a lot of other locations.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, and you're able to just hit a button. It's just what BJ was saying. Think of eBay. If you've done anything, eBay used to use PayPal. Okay, they used PayPal up until January 1st of this year. And I woke up in the morning, was like, great new year. We're going to start out a new year, right, guys? It's going to be a great year. And I opened up PayPal, got a couple of things, sports cards and stuff like that I'll occasionally sell. And eBay says, you can Google this, we've broken up with PayPal. Here's what I want you to do. Put in your checking account and routing number, connect up to the bank. We will manage the process for you, ACH. And I went, it's FacePay.
But you got to be, so to me, first of all, I mean, I get it. And I think if anybody, eBay's probably safe, but I don't want to take that chance. How many big companies have been popped? And it's like, I get a letter every 2 months or something that says, you have an account with so-and-so and their account was hacked and they had, 30 million people whose information got out. And boy, we sure hope you're not one, but if you are, kind of tough cookie, right? So how does something like FacePay protect me?
It's a great question. It's something when you sit back and think about it, you go, whoa. So let's take, we hit a button and we facilitate a transfer between Visa and MasterCard. Or I'm sorry, not Visa, MasterCard. We facilitated a transaction between Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Okay. Major banks. Okay. So we think about that. You think of the security that there is in banks and in the encryption and all of that goes along with that. Who do you think has better security? Wells Fargo or the third-party credit card processor out of California? There's a couple thousand shops. That's third party, and they're the ones who are taking the money, handing it over. They're the middleman. Believe me, they don't have the billion-dollar security that Wells Fargo does.
Yeah.
So FacePay just facilitates a transfer between the two banks. That's all. It's just a handshake.
FacePay is expensive. I mean, it costs a lot of money for FacePay. Holy smokes.
$99. That's not a lot.
So Bill's like, look at Bill here. So Bill's like smiling because, if I'm doing, let's say I'm doing 200,000+ in credit cards and I've got a 1.8 fee, right? And then they're going to add a couple other things in. I'm about 2%. That's $4,000 a month. Pop. And instead I can have a service like FacePay or FacePay. It's $99 all in, all done. And I can run as much as I can run through it. Right, so now, but from the shop side, BJ, my clients, they want to use their credit cards because they're going to get mileage or whatever, right? So they're not going to use something like FacePay, right? BJ, you there?
That was a question I missed part of it.
So the question is, I want to use my credit card because I've got I don't know, I got a mileage card, or I've got
Right.
I get 2% back or whatever
Right.
that is.
Right.
I'm not going to use something like FacePay because I'm not getting my 2% back. So how do you get clients to use a service like FacePay?
Well, we try to explain the benefits of not doing it. I mean, you're going to save more money by using that service than you are in the points that you're going to gain by using a credit card. Because I mean, yeah, you get points, but what are the points really worth? Not a whole lot.
Yeah, but they're free, right? I mean, they just give them to you because they like you. And
no, you're paying for it. You know what I mean?
Oh, they like you, Cecil, in a very special way.
Yeah, they do.
Exactly. It's like, your mileage card, right? You get all these points. I pay a parts bill with an Amex card and I get these points, right? Well, you got 10 million points that are worth a $200 flight that really is like $900, right? So it's like, if I spend, it's just, to me, it's just kind of ridiculous. I mean, you have the conversations, but there are the diehards that are I want my points no matter what. You know what I mean? There's not much you can do about that. You can just try to lead the horse to water.
What if the question is, what if I only had half my clients go, okay, I'll use FacePay. Boom. Right?
You'd only save 25 grand.
Yeah. It's only 25 grand.
That's all.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta pay him I don't know, a little less than 1,200. So it's really it's only 23.90.
23.8. Yeah.
I know. I'm
okay with that.
It's not that much.
It's an industry changing deal where we talk about friction, and it's low friction to use Visa, MasterCard, American Express, etc. And we've created it that way because the largest number of dollars going into marketing, both to business and to consumers, is the consumer debt credit card companies. They know more about us as individuals than anybody, including our wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, etc. They know how to make it work. And BJ, to your point, I'm going to get my points. They know that once a year, you're going to screw up and not make a payment on time, and they're going to get that $500 of interest on that $15,000 that you're carrying.
Right.
They're going to they are going to get theirs. Oh, well, I'm so disciplined. No, you're not, because they know you better than you know yourself.
Yeah.
So when a disruptor like Todd and FacePay come along, it's like, oh crap. And then you're starting to see a little bit of and this is stuff that I've been hearing, the little bit of the creep coming along on the credit card side is we have to now put that into the mix. So maybe it's going to be a 0.1, 0.2%.
Yeah.
Little bump. Hey, Bill, your processing has dropped. You used to, pump $4 million a year through us. Now you're only pumping $2 million. So we're going to have to raise you a half a point. Oh, gee, thank you, Visa. I feel so much better. It's like I want to stab them. I want to stab them in the face.
In the eye.
The faster we can bury these guys, the better.
Yeah. The answer to that's an interesting one, because I have a shop, and I don't know if I can say it on here, so I can Cecil, and I can email it to you.
If he doesn't get mad, I'm good with it. I don't care.
This shop, and
you can text it to me, and then I'll say it.
Yeah, there you go.
Then I'll be in trouble.
Yeah. He had $90,000 in fees last year, and he's on track to save $48,000 in fees because he's putting through so much to FacePay. And the problem with that is that this is the shop that put us on public enemy #1 radar, because the processor called and asked what was wrong. And he just
you're not using us anymore, right?
Yeah, something like, what's going on? And he just
said,
I'm using FacePay. I want to put everything through FacePay. And that right there was just boom. Well, I have heard some grumbles where the credit card processors, maybe they have to increase their rate or hold that. And the thing is, there's a processor out there that will do it for less. Anytime they want to threaten you, I mean, there's companies out there, I think they purchase it at like 1.6%, somewhere right in there. So you can get it down there. And I mean, everybody who listens to this, go back, renegotiate. They will lower their fees. They will absolutely. It's a race to zero for them.
That's one of the things that we watch. I think shop owners, and we got two of them here, and I used to be one, and Todd, I think you also. They think about making money by saving money. So they'll cut expenses here and there, and that'll help them make more profit instead of by, holding margin and having bigger IROs. It's kind of one of the things that I deal with when I'm out there is you're not going to save your way, but they can, I would say the typical shop could save $900 to $1,500 a month just by putting half their people through a product like Facepay.
Right.
Yeah,
And Cecil, what's the average shop making on the bottom line? 6 to 8% reality? Not your stores, but I'm talking.
Yeah. It used to be 3 to 4%, and I think right now we're probably closer to maybe 6.
But we're still giving away 30 to 40% of that to a credit card company.
Well, yeah. But so say a typical shop owner that does $1 million in business probably has 4 techs and should be doing $1.5 million, $1.6 million.
Right.
And so the techs aren't productive. And at the end of the day, with the expenses and everything else, they're making, say, 4% of $1 million, it's $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
And they're running $900,000 through a credit card company that where they're getting charged if you're not really paying attention, those guys will get you to 3% really quick,
real easy.
But so let's say it's only 2.5 and you're running 900, that's like $22,000 in change. See, I almost did that in my head.
That was good. My guy was following that. I was like, wow,
he's back.
Human calculator. Woo.
No, I could have got it on the penny if I had my old skills back. But that's $22,000, and they only made 40 for the whole year because they worked their butts off and only made and they could have saved $20,000 and added it on the pile. And so instead of making 4%, they made 6, or instead of making 6, they made 8.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right, I'm going to do, we're a couple of minutes early, but I have something on my mind I want to talk about, but I need to do a commercial. So if you're out there in podcast land, I just want to talk about our programs at the Institute. So we have an online training system. And if you go to wearetheinstitute.com, all of our podcasts are there. There's a lot of free content. So, we did these 58 tips that would be, how do I get better average repair order? And we have a great 5 ways to increase your bottom line. It's a 12-page ebook and I thought it was a 20-minute class. My son tells me it's a little over 45 minutes. So, but if you go there are so many tools for you. And of course, we also would love for you to pay for our monthly subscription there and get all the classes that we have, which right now are I think we're over 70 in there. And we have classes from all kinds of different people, not just Cecil, but we have Hunt Demarest, financial. We have SEO and marketing classes and all kinds of great things. Now, also, if you like what you're hearing and you like the leading edge, share us with your friends, post us on your Facebook, and talk about us. And then you can find us on Podbean, iTunes, under podcast, under the leading edge. And just look for the microphone there on BJ's screen in the background there, because that is our logo. All right, that's it. No more commercial. Now I'm just at the end. I say thank you, and that's it. It's perfect. All right, and I have to talk about our sponsors because I'm one of the sponsors. I am the sponsor. So all right. So now I've decided I want to use a service, and we know Todd for 1,000 years and at least 1,000, right, Todd?
Yeah.
And then, you and I would bet we've known each other for close to 30 years.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So
we're right. We're really close to 30. I think we're at 29 right now. So we'll celebrate.
Celebrate in Vegas.
Yeah. So a lot of the shops that I work with have Facepay. They're using Facepay. This question is not for you, Todd. So you don't get to answer this one. But how do I get my service advisor to use Facepay? Because I think that's the hardest part. Is not getting Facepay. Heck, you call Todd, you get it hooked up, and it's in, right? But how do I get my service advisor to do this? Because it's not what he's used to or she's used to, right? I don't want to be sexist here.
Hit 'em
So
on the head.
hit them on the head hard, a lot. Then they
Yeah,
can't do math. Then they can't do math in their heads, and it's no good. So
Yeah.
Well,
So
we had a meeting about it, my service advisor and I, and talked about it and the benefits of it and why we should do this. And he bought into it right away when you were beta, I think before you even came out all the way or whatever. But we just put it in when we send our digital inspections out to our clients. There's a link on that when they, it says, hey, here's your the inspection of your vehicle. Take a look at it. Blah, blah, blah. By the way, before you pick a vehicle up, click the link and I forget what the exact verbiage is, but it says it's a link to Facepay, our new preferred method of contactless payment, whatever. So we get them to sign up before they ever come in and pick their car up.
okay, and so you've been using it a long time.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, Bill a little less time wise. Bill, how do you get your service advisors to use it?
That's been like you said, that's been the hardest part. It makes perfect sense to me as the owner, and when you point it out to the clients, they're like, oh, okay, because they're used to it. We've already started conditioning them to give to make ACH payments. That's not a foreign thing to them anymore.
Why wouldn't you, right? I mean,
right.
Yeah.
So it comes down to the friction of how can we lower the friction for the advisors. And I think the best way to incent an advisor to do something is to pay them for it. I learned that from a gray-haired dude. So we're starting
white, actually, buddy. It's white.
All right, Santa. And so you notice mine?
Yeah, I noticed. You're getting younger instead of older.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great hair. Ugly head, great hair.
Bill and I are getting younger for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we won't tell, will we? The best way we're doing, we're starting a new fourth quarter initiative on this, and I'm splitting what we save with Facepay with my advisors.
Nice.
So if we save $20,000, they're going to get $10,000 to split between them. So
at the end of the year, here's a nice Merry Christmas, right?
Merry stinking Christmas. And let's say we capture 50% of that company wide, we could be, looking $25,000, $30,000 in that pot. Because, hey, what are great ways for the advisors to make money that doesn't cost us as shop owners any money?
Mm-hmm.
How about capture free money from Todd and put it in the pot, and you're like, hey guys, there's an extra 15 grand a piece. All you got to do is, this is how we do our payments here.
I think that's
and what's the customer going to say? Oh, okay, I want to use my credit card. This is how we do our payments here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think you have to argue. I really think in most cases that you just say, hey, this is how we prefer it. And this
is how we do it. Right.
And maybe some of them go, no, I got to use my credit card today. And you're like, okay, great. Let's use your credit card. No big deal.
Some people still want to give you a check, but it's, in our world, we're in the Bay Area, we're under 1% checks. And
that's another thing. I mean, I remember back in the day, we had a check service company because you get a couple of bad checks and there's, $6-8 grand gone. And
check, yeah.
And I think we paid those guys like 3% just to tell us the check was okay.
Right.
And I remember doing that and thinking, what an idiot I am. But on the other hand, I don't want to get checks. I hate, like I seem to get in the grocery line behind the older woman that wants to pull her checkbook out and find all of her coupons. And I'm like, oh God, let me pay for your groceries just so I can get you out of my way.
Shoot me in the face.
Yep.
But I don't, I think
Cecil, what's a grocery store? Don't you use that Amazon thing? Come on now.
No, I don't. I like fresh stuff, so I won't use the service. I'm just weird that way. That's okay. But
you just want your free gas.
Yeah. I want my gas. I want my 50 cents off on gas.
Yeah.
Man, okay. And we talked about Visa hooking you in, man.
If I'm gonna buy groceries anyway, I might as well, go to Smith's and get free. Well, it's not free gas, but I know I'm paying for it. Shut up. I don't want to.
Yeah, they just increase their prices 30% to give you $50 for the gas.
An interesting data point.
Here we are, a bunch of marketing geeks, and we all fall for it.
Yeah.
Can I say interesting data point of when I started with FacePay and just started looking into this. So let's just take the FacePay out and just the actual data point of it. So I kind of thought when I first started, and I first started talking to y'all a little bit, I was thinking, okay, looking at the actual time it takes to pull out a credit card or use FacePay, and how are we going to do that for a $60 charge? What's that? How many of those do we have to do to really equal that $99 kind of thing? Okay. So, and then the credit card companies tried to combat us with a very specific technique, and it worked for a moment because I had to learn my ground there. But they would say, listen, let me sit down and look and see who uses debit cards, because debit cards is a very low price point. Oh, well, if you move over to FacePay, you won't save as much because only debit card users are going to use this. Well, here's the Wizard of Oz, the curtain that I pulled back, the mind blowing. I called in to find out exactly the number right before this. So the average ticket going through FacePay, okay, is $934. There was 72 users yesterday. This is the data. This is yesterday, $934. So the interesting thing is, it's the exact opposite of what we would naturally think. And they didn't want me to find this out. They must have known this, must have been terrified, because I don't have any money. It's a $60 oil change. Can I use my credit card? Can I put it on? Okay.
I have no cash on me.
I have no cash.
Right.
Okay. You know what? I don't really care about points and things like that. I don't want to run balances on my credit cards. And there's a great amount of folks who do that. The bill is $3,300. Yeah, I'm going to use FacePay and just pay cash. The people who have cash are actually the ones who are doing the bigger tickets that actually manage their money better.
Probably.
I don't know. And that was mind blowing. I thought I was going to see a much lower average ticket. So kind of the easier in the world out there, Cecil, is we have maybe somebody new to looking at ways to doing things. And if they're looking at an option that's FacePay as an example, I know there's going to be some others coming out. We're paving the way. So, competitors, there's little ones kind of blipping out there. But when you really think about it, what if the policy in the shop is even very simple? We go, if the bill is over X, we take a moment on the FacePay clause, okay, or in that direction. So maybe it's $2,500. I don't know, $3,000. Every ticket that's $3,000, we have to propose it. And the interesting thing is 40% of them will do it. I have the data.
Yeah.
And so you guys are saying I got to be careful to not get, Bill said something in a political way. We can't talk away. Yeah, I got to be careful. Check my car, make sure, because that data is pretty crazy.
You're talking about billions of dollars too. I mean, it's not just 40,000 from Bill. It's 40,000 from Bill and 50,000 from Tom and 30,000 from BJ and 20,000 from Cecil. And I don't know how you get tapped into people like that. Can you tell me how to tap into people like that, where I could just get 2%, 2.5% or whatever they're running through the bank?
Have you seen how many ads you get hit with Visa every stinking day on every modality, radio, TV,
if they
Facebook, name it.
If they quit mailing me, they could cut my fees by 0.5%. Every day.
That's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, every day I get something.
How many calls do you guys get, BJ and Bill? What, a day or a week for a credit card processing? Just out of curiosity, how much do your clients get, Cecil? Just curious how much they're actually. Is it still the same volume or is it lower?
No, it's probably higher actually, but I don't think what we've done is talking customer service. I want a person to answer the phone. I don't want a machine. Right. But what we've done is we put these machines between the customer and us, or the potential customer, so that we catch the credit card guys, and so they don't get to me, right? Or we put a person in the middle of that, and now my service advisor spends an hour a day answering phone calls for credit card companies and SEO companies telling me that my website is no good, and just over and over this crap that goes on. And then I go to my mailbox, and there's 5 different pieces in there,
Right.
and we're supposed to be saving the environment. I mean, let's get rid of direct mail. I mean, period. It's
there is a metric there, Cecil, and Todd, BJ. I look at some of our analytics on the unanswered phone calls, which are those, and our business is at 23%, and that's for the unanswered calls. We know what those are. Those are sales calls, and we know that 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 are credit card processors. Yeah, you're right. The other 2 are people wanting to get us better websites, but the numbers are there, and I bet most of the shops that have a good phone system, and like you, Cecil, have good phone systems, you can measure that. And because anytime one of my humans answer a phone, that's money. And if they're answering a phone call from some idiot from a processing company, I want to shoot them in the face. So yeah, we intentionally have that there.
I also think there's a trend here from the public, and the trend is to be more conscious and more aware of how and where they're spending their money. I don't know if that has to do with COVID or it has to do with, the economy and the way things are going, inflation, but people are starting to be more cautious about how and where they spend their money. And, one of the things that happened when COVID started was people didn't want to come in the office. And they were scared to death. We're all going to die if I touch you, or if I get too close to you, I'm going to catch COVID, I'm going to die. And so methodologies to accept payment that are not in front of you have just kind of blossomed. I think I don't think you could have done this at a better time, Todd. As a company, I think you're pretty smart moving where you moved.
Text to pay is great. My mom, she's a cancer survivor, and that's one of those things where you have shops now that do the pickup, the drop off the vehicle, do all the service. And we don't want to take that credit card over the phone. Now you're getting that card not present. So you need a service that is a text to pay. There's a bunch of them out there. And the thing that's tough though, you got to look at the fine print, because some of the fine print will say that, there's no increased cost, but there is a card not present built in there. So that the safest thing for people, Cecil, the safest thing costs the most. Somebody just capitalizing.
Why don't I just get my customers' information for their bank and do my own ACH? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, holy smoke! But who wants to hold on to all those customers? So this is
who wants a liability?
Life. I was gonna say, but I'm still. If they want to try that, that's good.
Give it to
I'm
him.
okay with that, please.
Real life story. I left our building last night. It was the last one out. Okay, and I left, and I was thinking about. So I had to go take some people to dinner. We have a group here, blah blah blah, and so I wasn't really paying attention. And our front door kind of sticks sometimes. It doesn't quite shut. So I came this morning. And I don't know if you can see that, but it says your door was open, South Ogden Police Department, and that's the officer's card. And that was sitting on my desk this morning. Yeah. So we left the door open, and think about that. We don't touch credit card numbers or ACH stuff. We set it up so that we don't have any of that. Just because Cecil's an idiot, and sometimes, sometimes somebody's going to forget to lock your door. Somebody could have walked out with my computer, right? You just, it isn't, to me, it's not business smart. To save myself a couple of nickels, why not use Facepay or some other text to pay?
Yeah, $99 to give you that liability.
Oh yeah, that alone,
right?
So we're with WorldPack, and we do a lot of stuff for WorldPack. And WorldPack came out with a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty, and it was like $88 a month. And my shops were like, oh, I'm not paying $88 a month. And I was like, holy crap. I could tell every one of my customers they have a nationwide 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty for $88. Now it's more now, but I mean, for $88, I don't care if it's $388. Just to be able to market that when other people are going 1 year 12 or whatever, 220. Now when I go out, it's like, oh, we're 224. I got shops that are 3 year, 100,000 miles.
Yeah, we're 350.
Yeah. So, just to pay that $99 to give, let me take all of that worry off my shoulders and give it all to Todd. Todd, you can have all my worry. And I've had a struggle in my business because I want to do it. And my son, who does most of our processing, is fought me tooth and nail. Todd, we need to gang up on him next week and get that handled.
We'll gang up on him because there's a lot of, to really understand what we're doing. And Bill, you'd come on just as we had the pre-show, we were talking about this. So one of our new features that's coming out next month, it's the charity module. And so I'll define it a little bit more, but what that means is, and you kind of said, how do we get folks motivated? Some different ones for our service writers. That the way the program you're doing, Bill, works very well. I have a lot of shops that do that. They give the half back or a third back or some, but we have a module where that extra is going to go to the church, and Facepay is going to match that amount going to the church. And the credit card processors, they can't do this. They run on a different. The way they make cash is on the movement of that cash, the cards, all of that. Facepay is different. We get billions of dollars in bulk in the background, and then that is how we move. And it's a subscription base. Doesn't matter how much is getting moved. It just matters the individual business that is doing the moving. So I'm not stuck by the same rules and regulations and way that the credit card processors are. So I actually can separate myself and give money to charity, to the church. I love it. I'm so pumped. And this came from a shop in Texas who was like, you know what? Every one of my guys, we all go to the same church. He goes, you build this. He goes, you'll unite us all against the credit card companies. And I built it. It's a great idea. Thank you.
Unite the clans. Unite the clans.
So let me clarify, because I want to be sure I'm clear about this, and whoever might be listening. I can choose a charity and say I want that extra money to go to that charity, and you guys are going to match that.
Yes. Now there's going to be a couple stipulations in there, but yes, and you're going to be able to choose.
The charity can't be the Cecil J. Bullard Foundation.
It can't be that one, or the BJ one, or the Adams Autoworx Barbecue Lunch Foundation for hungry techs. I know that's a big one. Can't have that one. But yeah, somebody who leukemia, cancer. There's a couple particulars we have to line up as far as how that goes, because it has to be guaranteed that the money goes to charity. That's also very important.
Otherwise, it's a felony. So
they'll pull it out of pull it out of each transaction that way, or is it like that?
So it's actually it'll be bulk together. We'll be able to see it, and it tracks it on the dashboard, so you can see exactly what that is and verify it. So
now, what about payments? You were talking about setting up some sort of payment structure. Almost like a financing type thing. I had heard something about a while back.
The subscriptions, you mean? Or
yeah, I thought there was something where you do $1,000 sale and you can finance that over so many months or something, or was that somebody else?
So no, that's installments. So we have installments. Yeah. So you're able to set that up. So let's say, guys, the family can't afford the brake job, and it's $4,000, but they could afford 2 now and 2 on the 15th of next month. So you can actually set up an installment program. Came across my first fleet account that had a set amount every month that came out, and so that they said that's the reason we joined Facepay, because it's going through the credit card processor before that. So now on the 15th of the month, that that flat amount comes out, I guess what they do is they what do you call it, even up at the end of the quarter. So every quarter, they take that. So I think it's like $30,000. Yeah, no, we're 2,000 down or 2,000 up, but that way it's just.
We have a couple of big companies that we work with that we do training and we do groups for them and stuff. And every month we run 10,000, 13,000, 5,000 just, and they give us a card, and it's almost automatic in the sense that we send them an invoice and they just put their card in, but we could change them to Facepay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely easy.
Because we work with 3 different credit card companies for handling money. Mm-hmm. So online, and we do it because we started here, and then when we did our gear for shops online, where we have all of our educational training and all that stuff, we set up another company because the product that we used wouldn't go to this company.
Yeah.
And then when I bought RLO Training, they came with some other payment affinity or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so that what the first 2 do is they just take their piece first and then they put the money in the bank. But what Affinity does is at the end of the month,
of them.
at the end of the month, they come in and they go, oh, let's see, you owe us $3,500, and they just go in and right into my account, pull $3,500 out. And man, I'm just like, I know you and I talked, and I think you're probably mad at me because like I just want to be able to make it happen in my business, and it's very frustrating because I would bet I could save $4 or $5 grand a month working with you guys.
It's we're inundated, so I'm doing great. Super busy. Ratchet and Wrench conference. I mean, we had 31 shops come on board just instantaneous. Wow. It's
and this is going to snowball for you guys. I mean, because more and more shops are doing it, and I know in the beginning it was like, oh well, my service advisor or my customers won't, but the guys that did it, it just really worked for them. So so when we teach sales, sales it's really about psychology more than anything. If you approach the counter like this guy's not going to buy or that car's not worth it, then you're probably not going to sell it. But if you're like, piece of cake, he should buy, he's going to buy, then you're going to have a higher average, you're going to sell more. Yeah. I think the same thing goes with service like Facepay is that, if I tell my people, hey, we have this text to pay and you're just going to do this and you're going to assume that that's what they want to use, that 40-50% of my clients are just going to say, okay, no problem. And then boom, all of a sudden I'm saving $3 or $4 grand a month. BJ, has it worked well for you guys?
Yeah, it's worked really well. We had there were some glitches, I think, a while back that got worked through or something to do with the mobility, looking on the phone, and then it was like they couldn't reduce it down. I think they got that all handled. I haven't heard any issues. My guy, there's no problem there at all.
And I bet, Bill, when you put this, you guys get half of what we save in play. That all of a sudden it's gonna take off.
All of a sudden the friction was gonna go away.
Yeah. Wow. Wait a minute.
Like, can we start this now? I'm like, no, you're gonna have to wait now. No, go ahead and get started. I've also got a couple of our partner shops that we do work for have now come along on Facepay, and we're setting up those relationships as well, so they don't have to bring a check every time or bring cash or credit card. It's like, but it's funny. Some of these folks that have been in the business longer than we have, Cecil, now they're on Facepay, and I'm like, man, I thought you guys were still trading chickens and donkeys down there. But
some of them amazing. Still are.
Yeah, it's amazing though once they figure out that, oh wait a minute, this is real and it wasn't a flash in the pan and nobody got arrested yet. And the Visa Mafia hasn't come out and broke anybody's fingers. So let's go.
I think shops are very reluctant to try something new, and now we're at a place where a lot of shops have tried it and done it. And I also think that the millennials and the Z-Gens, they're just we have a class in here. We have a service advisor class that one of my guys is teaching. And I walked in, sat in the back, and there were, anyone under 30 was on their phone. The minute there was a break, they're just like, it's like their thumbs are just you can't even see them. It's just a blur. And I just think that the younger generation, this is where they're programmed anyway. This is what they're doing. About 20 years ago, somebody came to me and they were like, "Hey, Cecil, do we need to worry about these millennials? Do we really need to market to these people?" And I was like, "No, because they're 18 and 20 and they don't have any money, so no." But now they're 30 plus. I mean, they're in a sweet spot for us, and we need services that they can relate to.
Now they're running our companies.
Yeah, I think text to pay is well, if you're an old guy like me, you're smart to have some millennials around you or G-gens to because they think differently, and that's how you progress, I think. All right, let's
you think of what is that Uber, you think of DoorDash, you think of Amazon Eats, they just drop all your groceries off. Grubhub, so now Starbucks. What if I got up in the morning, my car's out of my driveway and my car's back at 4 p.m. and I receive a text and I just hit a button and paid and my car's fixed. I mean, that's it's really
low friction.
All right, we got about 10 minutes left. I want to talk about crypto. Because, and I don't know, I'm not an expert on crypto. I bought some. It goes up and it comes down, it's like, oh, well, but is crypto coming into the market? Is it going to come into the market as a sincere form of pay?
Yeah. I mean, so we're plumbed for crypto. It's already there. We could accept cryptocurrency. It's just something we haven't launched. I think the big thing you have to ask yourself is, does the world change? Does it really change in big ways?
All the time.
Okay. So right? We talk from electric cars. We talk to everything being, my groceries are delivered to my doorstep. Yeah. I press a button in any restaurant I want. They bring the food to my doorstep. Like, who would have said?
I love it.
Are these things going to change? Well, crypto actually goes around the banks.
Yeah.
So when you get to a certain point, as an example, if you are moving a lot of money, as an example, and you didn't, as an example, say Facepay. I don't want to tilt our hand there, but I guess I'm going to have to. And I'm thinking about it. Is that at some point it goes to crypto and the banks are cut out.
I think so. Right now, I have half my staff is contractors, and I have some contractors that we pay some pretty severe dollars. And when you try to set that up with, we're Wells Fargo. I have Wells Fargo and Chase, so I use two different banks normally, and either one of them, it's like they want to limit you to a $5,000 payment, and I have to go into the bank like once a year and almost strangle the bank manager to say $5,000 doesn't work for me, right? I mean, if I've got to if I got to send $20,000 into somebody's account next month, I don't want to be late. I don't want BS about my money not going where it's supposed to go. And then also,
they want you to wire it, and they want you to pay them a fee for it.
Yeah, 38. I think $38. We had a wire that they couldn't put through. They for some reason, it had to do with a Canadian company, and supposedly this was the bank, and they went to the bank, they called the bank, the other bank, and it didn't go through, and they charged me not only for the wire fee, which was like $38, but they charged me another $38 because it didn't go through. And
because they can.
Yeah, and you call the bank and you're like, I mean, that's $76. That's not. I could have a pretty good lunch for $76. You know,
that's a couple Happy Meals right there.
Yeah, right there. I am so done with banks and credit card companies.
Well, crypto. I'll do crypto. I'm ready for crypto as soon as somebody like him accepts a liability and charges me a small fee.
Yeah.
Something else offer my customers.
Yeah, I don't think there's any entrepreneur out there that wouldn't lovingly love to watch their bank drowned a slow, painful
I don't know.
death.
I like my bank sometimes because if I want cash, they give me cash. Of course, they charge me for it all the time.
They must
they
be
do.
listening to you because you're being pretty nice to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they could be. I mean,
Getting a
Facebook,
free
Google,
toaster?
and the government are listening to us right now. So
They are.
we got to be nice. Can't say anything bad. That's why I said no politics. Can't have that on the thing. All right. So
Get fact checked.
Crypto's going to come in. It is. And the thing is that it's a, we've been watching change happen. Our world has gone through major changes. I mean, I just look at the differences of, growing up in the 80s kind of thing. And then I look now and I'm like, the world is so different.
Yeah.
And so it's going to continue that route. And what you're going to just see, I always kind of think of it like it's a great reckoning, like it's coming. You're going to see credit card processors that their day has come. Sorry, you're not going to be able to gouge anymore. And it is a race to zero for them. They're all going to basically just start cannibalizing each other with who can do the cheapest fee. And it's beautiful for the shops and all of us excited.
Yeah.
You're going to see crypto, and the banks are always going to be there, but they'll I think what you're going to see is customer service come back a little bit more at the banks.
Customer service, what's that?
Yeah. Did you ever have a banker that you really loved going and they're really nice? You knew them for years and then they left, and then it hasn't been the same.
They don't, even the banks today, most of the banks have a charge for bringing cash in. So if you bring a certain amount of cash into their bank, they will charge you a fee to handle that cash and put it in your account. It's kind of amazing, right? You're like
Handling fee.
Yeah, I got I don't know if it was Chase or Wells Fargo, but I got a thing that said starting X, for every, $2,000 you bring in, there's going to be a $8 fee or something like that in cash. So
I need that confirmed. So you're telling me that if
Absolutely.
a shop has their cash drawer and they've got big and they take in that cash, they're going to get charged a fee to put the cash in the bank.
Oh,
100%.
And by the way,
that down again.
And by the way, Todd, I cannot deposit more than $5,000 because then I get on the watch list because that could be drug money. So it used to be 10,000, now it's 5.
Yeah, wow. the Patriot Act coming back to bite us. That is exactly what that came from. And
really,
they want to make sure that's not terrorist money or drug money. And I literally lost my religion one time with B of A when I went in to put a large amount in, and there was a fee, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me!
I'm taking my money, putting it in your bank. You're paying me no interest on it, or if I have it in a savings account, I'm getting maybe a 0.5%.
You're getting nothing,
and they're loaning my money out and getting 16-18% on credit cards, and they're charging me to deposit my cash. To me, the world is so. You kind of said it, Todd. When my dad was my age and I was, I don't know, whatever, 40, 35 or whatever, I'd look at my dad and you could just see him over there going, I don't understand the world. Things have changed so dramatically. I never thought I would get to that point, but now I'm like, occasionally I'm like, I just don't get that. I don't know how that happens. I'm just like, holy smokes, this.
Yeah.
Well, just think of this. We're all for sitting on a beach in Maui, right?
Yeah.
You got your little drink with your straw in it. And we look at it and says, God, remember the days when we used to pay the banks all that money to process those credit cards?
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Now we can afford to sit down here and have some Mai Tais. Yeah.
I can't believe we did that.
The Facepay sponsored, 2 weeks in Hawaii because I saved all that money.
Yeah.
That's the truth of that is, I think shop owners work too hard and they don't get away from their business, and they really need to go to Hawaii or the Bahamas or Europe or whatever and kind of get away from it where you can't be bugged.
And you know what? That being said, what you said about the small business owner, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this is so easy to save money at this and put that money in your pocket. do it, you know?
Put it, just get a savings account and what you save every month. I mean, I was kind of doing the math in my head again, and I got to do a little less than $10,000 in Facepay, and I've paid my fee, and then anything after that, I'm not paying anything. There's nothing. That's at 1%. That's at 1%.
Yeah, 1%. That's 1%.
Yeah, 1%.
Yeah.
Right. So you know, if you have a shop that's doing 70, 80,000 a month, and you can get half your clients to pay with what do you call it? Something to pay. Text to pay. Right?
Yep.
Then you're at like 0.025% instead of 2.5%. So you know, it's just it's a mind wobbler. All right,
$4,000 or $5,000 in my
I have a question. Question for you, Cecil, is so when we're going through the P&Ls and we're really looking at the different ways that we can improve the shop every month. Credit card processing fees is cost of doing business. There's not a lot to talk about, but how about with all of your clients, somebody out there is like, I've got 1.8, I've got 1.6, or how do you get all those folks on the best rate? How do you do that? When should they audit themselves? Because I'm on a mission. I want
you
everybody to have the best credit card rate too. I love it.
If you're smart, you actually pay attention. So we have a monthly form that actually shows what my rates are. And so we compare those in our groups. So, you know, we'll sit down in a group and you'll be like, oh, you're doing pretty good. You're at 1.4. That's really great. And then you're like, hey, you're at 3.0. What happened? Why were you at 3.0? And, you know, the guy that I love, God bless these guys, you know, these shop owners, and their wives and the female shop owners, because they have an excuse for everything. I mean, they geez, we had a lot of people who, you know, we did credit cards over the phone. So I had to pay that extra, 1.2%. And you know, so what happens in the groups, which I think groups are really good for this, is, you know, there'll be a guy at 1.4, 1.5. And the guy that's at 3 will go, who are you using?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Good.
Pretty soon, you know, most of the shop owners will make a switch and they'll go at the, you know, when their contract's up or at certain time of the year. And what I'm saying, things like uniforms, I can remember uniforms back in the day when I had my shops. You know, the uniform guy would come in and he'd talk to my techs and say, hey, would you guys like some extra rags? And they're like, oh yeah, you know, can I have as many rags as possible? And he'd leave an extra 200 rags, and then there'd be a $20 bill. You know, there'd be a $20 charge on my bill, and pretty soon my uniform cost was like twice what it was supposed to be. And then you bring the uniform guy in, and you're like, what the heck? You know, we had a deal. I got a contract with you, and they're like, well, your guys said they wanted more rags. Your guys said they needed a rug here, and they needed this, they needed that. You're like, oh, wait, time out, dude. Get rid of that crap.
Yeah.
But you have to pay attention. So if you're not, I mean, let's just think about this, right? You're looking at your credit card fees, and your credit card fees are 2.5%. And I would bet you that most shop owners that aren't looking, they're probably somewhere around 2.5 to 2.8, right? And so then you go, well, this is BS. You call up your credit card guy, and you call up another credit card guy, and one guy is, and then you say, this guy's going to give me this, and et cetera. Pretty soon your credit card fees are down to 1.8. And it happens.
Good.
It virtually happens every time, but you have to do the action, right? You have to have that call. And so I think the groups, in the very least, are really good for things like that. And so let's say that, so I'm Bill Adams, right? And I have these shops that are just killing it, and our average ticket's good, and our margins are good, and I know that because I beat them over the head over that stuff. And my salespeople are good and all of that, and I'm making good money. But all of a sudden I go, you know what? I think I want to try this text to pay stuff, and pretty soon there's another $60,000 in my bank every year. Well, for a guy like Bill, yeah, 60 grand, it's not much. You know, I'll spin that just thinking about it. But for somebody that's only making 60 grand to put 40 or 35 in their bank, it could be everything right? I mean,
Yeah.
it could be just the difference between staying in business and giving up on the whole thing.
You can actually pay
And
your parts
Cecil,
bill
since
on
we're on the
time.
ground, Cecil, since we're on the ground floor, I'll use your stadium speech here. Multiply that times 10 years or 15 years, and that's the difference between a really good retirement and having to pay somebody to change your diapers.
Yeah,
It's
20
it's night and day.
20 years at 60,000. If you just put it in the bank on a reasonable interest rate, it's going to double what you
Every
put
7
in
years.
every 7 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna save 1.2 million. 1.2 million.
1.2 million times 3.
Times 3. So I'm going to end up with another $4 million because I was smart.
That's a good retirement right there.
Yeah. I mean, for a lot of people, they won't even come close to that.
And look at how many things, not just even payment processing, but all the little things people don't look at. They're always looking at the big things, right? Which we need to look at. But if you make changes on all the small things, those turn into big things.
DJ the operator.
Yeah.
Well, there is a little doom and gloom out there, and I always say, Google it. That's the biggest thing. Don't shoot the messenger, but you want to start converting as many customers over to a virtual cash option as quickly as you can. And a lot of these shops who have gone in that direction early on, they're ahead of the game. February, it is publicly announced, Visa and MasterCard graciously gave us another year before they increase the rates. Yeah. So they're increasing the rates, and there is 2 of the articles say it's 0.25% that it's going up. Google it. It's Visa and MasterCard are increasing their rates in February. So it's going to be even worse. So you're going to pay more.
And while there's doom and gloom, there's other doom and gloom we could talk about, like there's no techs to hire. And so even if I took that 60 grand and put it in my tech paychecks so that I could hire better people, or I bought better tools so that they would stay with me, or I put air conditioning in my shop so that they would be happier in my place than somebody else's. I mean, there's so many reasons to pay attention to your finances and do everything you can for yourselves, right? I think there's so many shop owners that are like, oh, this is just a terrible job. I have to work so much and I just don't get paid. And Bill, I think you, BJ, even myself, we can all relate to that, because at some point in our lives, we were like, my God, am I ever going to make any money? And yet, if you run your business well, and you've seen the guys, Todd, who they're like, oh, hey, I'm up in Alaska, my shop's running, and we're up hunting bears. Oh my God, you can do it. All right, so we are at time. We're over time. I gotta just ask advice. I'm gonna let you go last, Todd. We're gonna start with Bill. We're gonna go to BJ and to you. Advice for the shop owners out there, something that will help them.
Number one, guys, think about putting that $60,000 or $40,000 in your bank account. And then you can decide what you want to do with it. If you want to share it with your advisors, share it with your staff, share it with your significant other. That's usually where you get your best bang for your buck. But make the decision to do something different that's going to change your life.
Yeah, thank you for that, BJ.
Take your processing statement, look at it, and see what it's actually costing you. Right? Do the math and see how much money you can save. Actually look at it, take it out of the envelope instead of just making the payment to them.
Yeah.
Right. And see what you're really paying for that stuff, because I think a lot of people don't even want to look.
I bet most shops don't. They just send it over to the accountant, the bookkeeper, whatever, and it is what it is.
You have to do it. They just figure they have to do it. So,
but you don't have to today. There are other ways.
Are options. Yes.
And Todd, you guys are coming out. You're going to do crypto here soon. You're telling me. Right?
Yes, we're set up for crypto.
Soon is relative. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Todd, you get the last word, and then we're going to say thank you.
Kind of you guys. Thank you first off for just letting me join you, gentlemen, and really, I'm very honored, and thank you. Most importantly out of all
hang
this,
on, Todd. Oh. I got to raise my feet off the floor. It's getting a little deep in here, buddy.
Is it?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
What's most important, you guys, is the customer experience. That is the most important. And the most important thing that we remember as a customer is what happens last. So when we think of something, some of these technologies out there, and I'll say a FacePay one is an example. We've already paid earlier in the day by just hitting a text message, and I walk into the shop and I'm able to spend time with Cecil or BJ or Bill and just talking about family, catching up for a moment. Or maybe it's Friday, we're slammed busy and we're trying to get everybody checked out. And we literally have to get into our wallet, pull out a card, wait for this archaic brick of a thing to go through and charge and all that. And the person behind you, what are they doing, Cecil? You already said it. They're pulling out their phone because we're just it's not a good experience. And the best experience is this. As I walk in, Bill is stuck with the people who, are not using the quick high technology systems. They're using the old archaic, but he says to me, Todd, repair order is on the front seat. Keys are in it. You already paid. Appreciate you. Hope the family's doing great. I'll see you next time. Okay. And I'm able to walk right out, just get in my car, or it's in my driveway.
Already
save
automatic.
Time. It's just so the customer experience, that is the most important piece. And they don't realize the time they're taking to sit there and do all that other stuff. So that'd be my thoughts.
Everything has changed. And if we don't change with it and move ahead, I mean, there are so many places now that are picking the car up and dropping the car off. And the only way we do, either we pay, that exorbitant extra percent by swiping the card, or we have something, a text to pay like FacePay or FacePay, and it's already paid for. And you just shake their hand and say thank you, and you're done. And I can tell you, based on running shops, what did my customers want? They didn't want to have long conversations with me. They wanted to get in and out as quickly as possible. They trusted me. They knew we were doing the right thing. I'll call you. We'll have a conversation. We can do that. But they didn't want to stand in my shop and wait for other people and wait and wait and wait. They just want to get in and out. And so I think that it's a benefit to the shop owner. It's a benefit to the service advisors, or less people I got to deal with. It's a benefit to the company, more money, and it's a benefit to the customer. I see that as it's a win-win-win all the way around. So, all right, guys, that's it. We're going to let them go. Thank you for watching. Again, if you liked, if you liked what you saw, share it, like us, join our club. Come to wearetheinstitute.com. Take a look. We have an app for you. So you don't have to deal with all that, Facebook stuff. You can talk to just shop owners. And thank you guys. Thank you, Todd. Love you, buddy. BJ, you're my best friend in the world. So thank you. And Bill, I love you too, brother. So you guys take care. Thanks for your time.
Nice seeing everybody, man. Thanks.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good day, guys.
Bye now.